Okay, we are back, and we're now going to start the next case. This is number 8 in Paris. I've gotten everything taken care of, at least for my personal stuff, for school anyway. So, let's get started. Dressed to be killed. Neighborhood. Matthew, I know I should let this go, but I can't believe that Clementine is using a dating app already. Yes, I'm well aware that our divorce was finalized, but did she have to move on so soon? Shouldn't there be a grieving period? Okay, I know I've flirted with women too. Noemi the Prince, for example. But it's not the same as actively looking and getting algorithms involved. Noemi just fell into my lap, or I rather wish she had. Besides, a man has needs, and... Never mind, we're not standing in the middle of Pigalle to discuss my lack of love life. Animal rights activist Harper Stone told us the late animal smuggler Jackson Peacock went to the peep show at Voyeur, but not to watch the dancers. That means Voyeur could be mixed up in this animal smuggling racket. Let's check it out. nom du pipe, Matthew. This poor girl was strangled. Given the way she's dressed, I wonder if she works here. Oh no, Justine. Mademoiselle, you know this girl? Yes, it's Justine Collier. She was a colleague of mine. My name is Amélie Brazier. I work as a dancer at Voyeur. Please, you've had a shock. Go sit down and we will come speak to you in a moment, Miss Brazier. Matthew, you found torn paper next to the victim. Reassembling it could give us a lead on the killer. Our investigation of the animal smuggling racket will have to wait. We have a murder to solve. Yes, we do. And I need to get stars, so sit tight, everybody. Alright, I got 8 stars, so I'm going to examine the torn paper now. Federico Stacacci. Wonder if that's the name of the person, of the deceased. Matthew, our victim was dressed exactly like the character on this torn comic book cover. Is this some kind of cosplay? The comic might belong to the killer and they asked her to wear these clothes, or they dressed her themselves after she was dead. But what is this comic book anyway? It's called Zizi dans le Metro. Sounds ridiculous. Ridiculous and retro, you're right. Let's show this to the High Commissioner, our expert at everything vintage. I hope you are feeling well enough for a quick questioning, mademoiselle. Bien sûr. I've been a peep show dancer at Voyeur longer than I'd like to admit. I'm no stranger to darkness. Justine was out of her depth in Paris, so I tried to show her the ropes. Clearly it didn't work. So you both worked here. Where's the owner? Fabrice? He's probably off somewhere drinking. He probably doesn't even know about Justine. I'm heartbroken I couldn't keep her safe. Pigalle isn't as bad as people say, but just standing on the sidewalk a while, you'll see your share of unsavory characters. Speaking of the sidewalk, General Matthew, that's probably the next place to look for clues. Gonna hold. Alright. I got myself the first 10 minutes. So let's get this thing underway. Nice, another 10,000. Amelie said if we stood on the street long enough, we'd see unsavory characters. But I think you found some clues for our investigation instead. Good point. The killer may have stashed something in that locked crate. Let's unlock it. And this handbag might have belonged to the victim. There's only one way to find out. I'm definitely gonna have to go to bed right after this. Hold on, I gotta try this again. Okay, let's try this again. Got it. Photo of a woman. Look at all this stuff. Don't get me started about women's handbags. My wife, well, ex-wife, was a walking drugstore. Nothing of the victims in this bag, but there is this one photo. If the bag belongs to this woman, maybe she was around when the murder happened. Let's run her through the PPS database. Celeste Alouette. The person in the photo is Celeste Alouette, a transvestite who is a bit famous around Pigalle. She's been picked up a few times for sex work, apparently. One thing is certain, Ms. Alouette knows the Pigalle streets, so maybe she knew the victim. Let's go ask. Anybody else thinking Alouette? Coucou, Miss Chouchou. Looking for a little fun? No, we're here on business. Oh great, not again. Try to be a little gentler on my wrist than the last cops were, okay? We're not here to arrest you. We found your purse near a crime scene, and we need information on the victim, Mademoiselle Justine Collier. She used to dance at Voyeur. Victim? Used to dance? What happened? Miss Collier was murdered earlier tonight. Her body was found in the Peep Show. Oh, that's awful. Working the streets, I get to know all the new faces, but I only knew her in passing. That little lamb was lost among wolves. No street smarts at all. She often walked alone late at night. I'm sorry she's gone, poor thing. Well, thank you for returning my purse. You know where to find me if you have more questions. this one. And this. Potted bowl. No luck for us tonight, Matthew. This crate is full of fruit and vegetables. Looks like we goofed. Hey, what are you doing to my produce? We're the PPS. Who are you? Didier Soucy, and it should be fairly obvious that I'm a greengrocer. Well, Monsieur Soucy, excuse us for disturbing your eggplants, but there was a murder at Voyeur just across the street. A murder? How shocking, even for Pijal. If this is your produce, Monsieur Soucy, you must work or live nearby. Tell us what you know about happenings around Voyeur. So, Monsieur Soucy, have you seen anything suspicious happening around Voyeur? Not really. The only melons I'm interested in are the ones I sell. I pay no attention to the nastiness of this neighborhood, and I never set foot inside Voyeur. So, you don't know who this is? Oh dear, you say she was murdered? All the girls who work at these establishments, well, they walk by my stand on their way to work. Sometimes they stop to get fresh produce, but that's all. It's like we live in two separate worlds. Well, please reach out to us if you remember anything strange from the last few days, Monsieur Soucy. I'll see you guys when these two have run their courses. So for now, this is Matthew. Catch you later. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the autopsy first. Hello, Matthew. Another gorgeous creature gone too soon. Shame. She was totally my type. Voyons, Nadia. Everybody is your type. You're not wrong about that. Anyway, I can start by confirming the cause of death. This young woman was strangled. She must have been taken by surprise. I see no signs of defensive wounds or bruising. Perhaps she enjoyed rougher play than most. Choking is a very specific request. Goodness knows I fulfilled it myself in the past. Not fatally, of course. So the question is, was it a sexual game that went too far, or was it murder by strangulation? But my conclusion is that this was not a romantic game, because the neck is the only place I saw where the killer had come into contact with the victim. How can you tell the killer only touched your neck? Because the killer had sexual lubricant on their hands, which left traces on her neck, but nowhere else on the body. Now I'm not sure why they had lubricant on their hands, but it's clear the killer fled immediately after the murder. But I can tell you I'm sure the killer uses sexual lubricant. Strange. Well, the killer had better watch where they step. They've slipped up enough already. Now let's see what the High Commissioner has to say. Ooh la la, Matthew. This comic cover really took me back. Zizi dans le Metro is a porn comic from the 70s. You were a fan? You could say that. The fact is, your victim was a dead ringer, so to speak, for the main character, Desiree. Yes, and this Mademoiselle Collier's outfit matched the character. We wonder if the killer dressed her like this. That's logical. The attention to detail is meticulous. From what I could tell, she was only missing the headband. Not only has the killer read this comic, but they may be obsessed with it. They saw the similarity between the victim and Desiree and the comic, and possibly lost their minds. It's too bad that the killer couldn't separate truth from comic book fiction. The truth won't set them free. Matthew, so far there's no sign of exotic animals. I'm not sure Harper Stone's tip about voyeur will pan out. But we have more pressing concerns. We discovered the strangled body of Justine Collier, a peep show dancer at Voyeur. So far, no one, not even the local greengrocer, says they've seen anything suspicious. But Celeste Alouès and the victim's colleague Amélie Brazier felt the victim needed protection because she was new to town. General Matthew, there's a disturbance at the Paradis Perdu bar near Pigalle. It might have to do with animal smuggling. Oh boy. I'll see you guys for Chapter 2 of Dressed to be Killed. Don't go anywhere. And we have returned. Let's start Chapter 2 of Dressed to be Killed. We last left off with the officer, Dario. General Matthew, there's an animal loose at the Paradis Perdu bar in Pigalle. It might have to do with your animal smuggling investigation. Remy Roy is on his way, but the caller asked you to come as backup. We'll pause the murder investigation for the moment, Matthew, and go help at Paradis Perdu. Matthew, that's a panther. Roar. And it's pink. Stay clear of that thing, Matthew. We're homicide, not animal control. Oh God, it's gonna pounce. General Matthew, watch out for Capucine. She's in a mood. Remy, thank God you're finally here. Atta girl, Capucine. Fais dodo, sleep. Sorry you had to deal with that. One of the stagehands at the Popotin Rouge accidentally let her out, and I guess she decided to explore. Luckily, she's easy to spot. The pink fur is a genetic mutation. She's the only one of her kind. Naturally, she's a show animal. But the only times I've seen her this riled up were around that new dancer at Voyeur. New dancer? You mean Justine Collier? Yes, Justine. I guess she used to come here. Anyway, I better get Capucine back before the ketamine tranquilizer wears off. Wait, Matthew, if the victim was here recently enough for the panther to smell her, there might be clues relevant to her murder. Let's look around for clues. Got the first star. So, Matthew, we know the killer dressed the victim like the character from that porn comic. Jean-Philippe pointed out she was missing the headband, but this headband you found matches the one from the comic. This was part of the outfit the killer put together for the victim. Let's get a sample of the stain and see what it can tell us. Wait, this poster is for Voyeur's Peep Show, and that's a picture of the victim. Someone wrote on it. The legible part says, Mort à nos yeux, dead to our eyes. Let's recover the rest of the text and see who felt that victim was dead to them. And I agree, there could be a clue in this basket of dirty dishes. Oh boy. There we go. Oily substance. Super, Matthew. We'll have Enzo examine the sample you took from the headband. Hours. here? Hold on. I'm gonna have to pause this. Okay, I finally found it, but hold on, everybody. Alright. I had to stop real quick. Apparently this thing is trying to be a real dick. Matthew, you found a Metro Pass in the basin of dirty dishes. The pass belongs to a Fabrice Dufour. Didn't Emily say the owner of Voyeur was named Fabrice? Monsieur Dufour must be nearby. Let's see what he knows about the murder. Monsieur Dufour, we have been meaning to speak with you. Are you aware that your employee Justine Collier was murdered? Yes. Emily told me what happened and that you're investigating. Why didn't you try to speak with us about the incident? Because I needed to get a drink. I can't just hear about a murder and act like nothing happened. You're in homicide. For you, a dead body is just deja vu. I like to think General Matthew and I bring a little more humanity to the job. Look, in my line of work, bodies are alive and beautiful. When I was a teenager and discovered Zizi dans le Metro, it inspired me to start this business. I built the shop myself with the help of beauties like Justine. Now I beg you, General Matthew, catch your killer as quickly as you can. I can't afford to lose customers over this. And of course, recently this criminal case stopped sharing coins, which I feel was a dumb move all around. Now let's get to the faded poster. Hold on, I'm gonna have to pause. A threat from Celeste? Wow, Matthew, not only does someone write dead to our eyes on this poster of the victim, but the rest of the writing says, "My dear birds of the night, Justine Collier no longer deserves our help." And it's signed by Celeste. I wonder what kind of help Celeste's birds of the night were giving to Justine, and why she apparently didn't deserve that help. Let's ask Celeste what this means. Mademoiselle Aloes, what made you tell the other birds of the night to stop helping Justine? And how are you helping her? We are owls. We see everything that happens on these streets. That little chickadee Justine hadn't grown her wings yet. She was going to run into trouble. So I offered her the protection of the night birds. I said, us girls gotta stick together. And that petite cretine spat on me. She said, you're not a girl, you're a dirty transvestite. You disgust me. That must have been hurtful. Oh, I've been treated worse. She was a harmless little chickadee. But I did consider creating an accident for her with some of my lube. A flaw would have kept her from walking into trouble. That was only fantasy. I took a bath and read Zizi dans le Metro, and was too tired to act on my anger. In our line of work, we know anger can return. If you kill Justine, we'll find out. Alright, and I'll see you guys when the oily substance has run its course. See y'all soon. Alright, we have returned. Let's get the results of the oily substance. Matthew, do you know if Carrie has a favorite cocktail? I think she likes trying lots of things. Adventurous, I like that. Well, your killer has their own streak of adventurousness. That sample you brought me is amyl nitrite. You mean poppers? Like the sex-enhancing drug you sniff to get a rush? Ever tried those? Sure, but I don't like them. Whoever I'm with is all the drug I need, and I'm all the drug they need. Now, amyl nitrite can stay in your system for a couple of days, so I checked with Nadia. No trace of popper use in the victim's blood. That means your killer's the one sniffing the poppers. Well, soon the only rush the killer's going to experience is into a jail cell. This sexy evidence makes me think we should take another look around Voyeur. Got it. Matthew, that suitcase belongs to the victim. Let's crack the lock to see what's inside. This is a bottle of lube like the killer uses. It has a note that says in French, I'll need 2 more next week, thank you. You're right, the way the note is worded sounds like it was written by a customer. Maybe testing that stuff on the note will identify who wrote it. Got it. Matthew, the victim's suitcase has a note in it. The note is addressed to the victim and says, Justine, take your stuff and never come back. So Justine was staying with someone who then kicked her out. But who? The note isn't signed. Maybe Jean-Philippe can identify the handwriting. Crystals. Great! Now that you've collected a sample from that note on the tube of lubricant, we can examine it under the microscope. Ketamine. Matthew, the sample you got from the note on the bottle of lubricant is ketamine. We know the note was probably written by a customer, which means they left the traces of ketamine. You're right. Ketamine is what Remy Roy used to tranquilize the panther in the Paradis Perdu bar. This note is from him. Let's talk to Remy about this. Monsieur Roy, we found a bottle of sexual lubricant and a note with traces of ketamine on it. Are we correct in assuming that the lubricant and the note are yours? Yes, I always order my lubricant from Voyeur. I get a good price, and it serves many purposes for me. What purposes would those be? Well, personal use, of course. But it also comes in handy when I have to take the temperature of my animals. Ever try to keep a thermometer under a lion's tongue? I can't say I have, no. The reason we ask is because Justine Collier from the Voyeur Peep Show was murdered, and we know her killer uses this same brand of lubricant. Justine was murdered? Oh, that's horrible. She was such a sweet kid. I hope you find her killer. Let me know if I can help. And I'll see you guys when the handwritten note has run its course. I'll see y'all soon. Okay, we are back, and let's get the results of the handwritten note. Jean-Philippe, were you able to identify the handwriting on that note to Justine? Well, you'll notice that the person who wrote the note used a thick black marker. This supports the message that they no longer wish to house the victim, but it also implies strength and independence. The intertwined loops of the J and P imply a closeness, while the T's are drawn as separate downward stabs. There is finality and rupture in these slashing letters, despite their sensual closeness and rhythm. One could read the looping and vertical lines of this note as music. The person who wrote this note is female and a sensual dancer. Sensual female dancer? That's Emily Brazier. Matthew, let's go see what made her kick Justine out of her place. Mademoiselle Brazier, when we first spoke, you failed to mention that Justine was staying with you, and that you had kicked her out shortly before she was murdered. What happened between you? It's irrelevant to your case. I kicked her out before she was murdered, and I'm not surprised something bad happened. I told you I took her under my wing, but once she moved in, she abused my hospitality. She made copies of my apartment key for all her lovers. My home became a brothel. I said I wanted her out. Elle a pète un câble. Elle a pète un câble. She went nuts. She destroyed everything she could get her hands on. The only thing she didn't ruin were in my drawers, where I keep my lube and my copy of Zizi Dans Le Metro. Sounds like you did the right thing evicting her from your apartment. Let's just hope he stopped there and didn't evict her from this world, too. I probably would have done the same thing. Well, Matthew, our murder victim was a peep show dancer who the killer dressed up as a character from a porno comic from the 70s. The shop owner's reaction to her murder was to drink. Hard to know if that's because he was shaken or hiding something. We also know the victim was living with fellow dancer Emily Brazier, who evicted her. And the victim had bad blood with Celeste Alouest. Justine was offered protection by Celeste's street-smart birds of the night, and things got catty. Speaking of cats, I'm still shaken from that panther running around earlier. Pijal is anything but boring. Matthew, I need your help. I think my dad's in trouble. And we're going to have to find out what trouble Jean-Philippe's in Chapter 3, so don't go anywhere. Okay, let's start Chapter 3 of Dressed to be Killed. We last left off with this one. Matthew, I need your help. I think my dad's in trouble. What kind of trouble? Well, I couldn't find him anywhere around the station, and on my Maps app, the last location pinged was a bar in Pijala called Paradis Perdu. You know how he can overindulge sometimes, Matthew. You even saved him that time he got drunk and fell into the river. He promised to stop drinking, but I'm afraid he started again. I need you to come with me because he won't listen to me. Matthew and I are happy to go to the bar with you, Gaultier. I
can't believe you were an original member of the Petit Edouard drag troupe. Yes, my name was Elk von Schlepp, and I wore the highest heels of any of us. Oh, hello, General Matthew. Matthew, it's good to see you. I was getting a drink, and Celeste here offered to help me relive my days as a drag performer. Dad, you were a drag performer? You say that like it's bizarre or shameful. Drag is a reimagining of self that profoundly deepens our perspective on identity. Amen to that. You might want to try it sometime. Could be fun. I have all the perspective I need on my own identity, Dad. Thanks. I'll leave you to it. Celeste, my son is one of the most strong-headed people I've ever known, second only to his mother. Well, I better call it a night. Thank you for helping me relive old glory days. My pleasure, Elk von Schlepp. And General Matthew, tell Gaultier I'm happy to open his eyes if he ever comes around. He's got incredible cheekbones. Ciao. Well, that wasn't the discovery Gaultier was expecting. Jean-Philippe has led such an interesting life. Matthew, while we're here, we should take another look around for clues. Let's get to it. Matthew, this is the victim's phone. Let's unlock it and see if it holds any info for our case. This could be a clue. It's a DVD copy of the movie Zizi dans le Metro, based on the comic book Our Killer Loves. It looks like this movie was rented from Voyeur, where the victim worked. Restoring the text on the rental card could reveal who rented it. And we should put these broken pieces back together. They could be another clue. The first star, but whatever, I'll get it first. Hold on. Alright, got me the first star. Now let's take care of these three clues. Got it. Matthew, the rental card on the Zizi dans le Metro DVD case is a list of codes. Let's see if Emil can find out who rented this movie. Matthew, the victim's phone has text with her boss, Fabrice. She said, "You work too hard, Fabrice," and he responded, "If I'm hard, it's because of you." Was there something sexual between Fabrice and the victim? Let's ask Fabrice about this. Monsieur Dufour, were you and Justine ever intimate? What? I don't get involved with my employees. I'm a professional. Well, some texts we found between you and Justine imply otherwise. Okay, I'll admit there was interest, but she came on to me first. The interest was mutual. And I swear we never acted on it. I'm serious when I say I'm a professional. But my profession is selling titillation. I've got nothing against flirtation. I hope that professionalism means you're against murder too, or we'll be coming to see you again real soon. Matthew, this is a drink tray from the bar. There's powdery residue in a straw. Looks like the tray was used to snort a drug of some kind. And there's a message that says, "Remy, do what I say or you'll regret it. Signed, JC. JC has to be the victim, Justine Collier. She must have been the one using drugs. Why do you think she threatened Remy like that? We should see what he can tell us about this." Monsieur Roy, can you explain Justine's angry message and drug residue on the service tray? Ugh, I knew that would come back to bite me. That drug residue was Justine's. I had nothing to do with it, but she kept nagging me to give her ketamine because it's the latest party drug craze. As you saw, when I used ketamine to sedate Capucine earlier, it's strictly for my animals. I refused to sell any to Justine. But Justine wouldn't let up, and she threatened to report that I was dealing it on the street. She said my only way out was to give her ketamine. None of this looks good for you and her murder investigation. I didn't kill her. I tried to appease her with some of my animal poppers, but she stormed off, so I passed the poppers on to Emily and Celeste. And I didn't see Justine again after that. If you're lying, the murder sentence will be much worse than a drug charge. And I'll see you guys when the codes have run their course. See y'all soon. Okay, we have returned. Let's get the results of the codes from Emil. Matthew, Matthew, this movie ZZ Dazzle Metro brings back memories. A friend of mine in high school had a copy of the comic book, and I was always afraid to look at it. Afraid? Why? Because it's porn. I thought looking at it would mean I was a bad person. Emil, looking at a comic book doesn't hurt anyone, and it doesn't make you a bad person. What's important is how you treat people. You're right, of course. So when you brought in the movie, I was too curious. I watched a bit of it, and it's pretty good. We're glad to hear of this breakthrough. Speaking of breakthroughs, did you figure out who rented it? Yes, the last person to check out the DVD was Didier Soucy, the greengrocer, but he made it sound like he was just as scared of this sexy stuff as you were. Matthew, let's get an explanation from Didier. Or Didier, I don't know. Monsieur Soucy, you said you'd never been inside Voyeur, but you rented this movie from there. What? How did you find that? We're homicide detectives, Monsieur Soucy. Why did you lie about having gone to Voyeur? I went to see Justine. I was desperately in love with her. Why didn't you tell us this before? Because she never even knew I existed. I went over there once to try to talk to her. I bought lubricants, the comics, some poppers, and I rented the ZZ DVD just to have an excuse to be there. Justine was dancing in the peep show. I tried to get her attention, but she couldn't see me through the glass. I was so embarrassed. That was the first and last time I went there, and now I'll never have the chance to tell her how I felt. Made himself a possibility. Matthew, the trajectory of this case has taken some dangerous curves. We now know the victim's boss hid their flirtatious relationship in the name of professionalism. And the victim tried to blackmail Remy Roy into giving her some of his animal tranquilizer drugs. We also found out that the greengrocer isn't as innocent as he first claimed. Apparently he was head over heels in love with the victim. We'll need more information before we can pin a suspect. I agree. We should search again on the street by the victim's peep show. Let's go. comic. And the potted plant. Matthew, this is a copy of the comic book our killer is obsessed with. They went so far as to dress the victim like the main character. The cover is torn from this copy, and it matches the cover we found with the body. I'll be examining this black stuff on the book will tell... I'll bet examining this black stuff on the book will tell us something about the killer. And the killer could have stashed something in the shrub when making their getaway. Let's see if we can find anything in it. Matthew, a killer's on the loose in Pijao, and we're hot on their trail. Hold on. Gotta reset. Got it. Popper's bottle. Had to reset because I was getting close to 10 minutes. What is this you found in the shrub, Matthew? A bottle of amyl nitrate A bottle of amyl nitrite. Poppers. Our killer could have sniffed from this to calm down after the murder. Let's have Enzo examine this bottle. Okay, now the battered comic. Got it. Black bits. Great, Matthew. Now we'll get this sample of the black stuff from the comic book to the lab for examination. and I'll see you guys when these two have run their courses. I'll likely have been leveled up by then. Because I'm only 102 away. For now, I'll see y'all soon. So for now, this is Matthew. Thanks for watching. Okay, we have returned. Let's get the results of the poppers. And let's put a killer behind bars. Enzo, can you confirm that this is the killer's bottle of amyl nitrite? Oui. Definitivement. There is a smudge of lubricant on the bottle, which proves it was your killer's. Fantastic. And were there any identifying traces, fingerprints? No fingerprints, malheureusement, but I did get a trace of sweat, probably from their nose when they sniffed from the bottle, and the sweat contained DNA. From those traces of DNA, I learned that your killer has green eyes. Matthew, we're one step closer to catching this green-eyed monster. Now the black bits. Matthew, I've been trying to concoct just the right cocktail based on what I know about Carrie's taste. And I know she's a very sweet person, open and vibrant, maybe with notes of strawberry. Strawberry? That could be good, but you might want to elaborate on that. Maybe some curacao. But, what can you tell us about those black bits Matthew collected from the killer's comic book? At first I thought they were pieces of leather, but when I looked closer at them, I realized they were actually artificial leather. So I can tell you that your killer wears artificial leather. Artificial leather, eh? Well, Matthew, our killer can run, but they can't hide. Matthew, the streets of Pijal are about to get a little safer. Let's go arrest Justine Collier's killer. Wouldn't you know it? It's not Amélie Brazier. Wait a minute, let me check the other ones first before I arrest Didier Soucy. See if I'm right. No, not Celeste à l'Ouest. It is certainly not Fabrice Dufort. And it is not Remy Roy. Yep, I had to be sure. Took my time, and it worked. Didier Soucy, you're under arrest for the murder of Justine Collier. What? Murder? Quelle idée? Where did you get that crazy idea? What kind of deviant do you think I am? Well, we know you lied to us about going to Voyeur, and we know you were in love with Justine. Exactement. Why would I murder a woman I love? You said yourself, she didn't pay attention to you. But if she ignored you, we have to ask. Did you get her to dress like the character from that sexy comic book, or did you change your clothes after you killed her? You take that back. Zizi Dans le Metro is not just a sexy comic book, it's a classic. C'est son chef d'oeuvre. C'est son chef d'oeuvre. And Justine was the perfect likeness to Desiree. She wore the clothes willingly after she made me agree to pay her 1,000 euros. You agreed to pay her 1,000 euros for that? Of course I did, but I'm no fool. I was able to convince her to let me pay her after she put the clothes on. She put on everything but the headband, but that's the most important part. She knew that would make me angry. She wanted to make me angry. And then what did you do, Didier? She stood there, taunting me. I sniffed the bottle of poppers I bought in Voyeur to help me calm down. But it didn't make me calm. It made me more angry and more determined to see her wear that headband. So I grabbed her by the neck to hold her still. My grip was so tight she didn't even fight back. Of course, that isn't what I wanted. I never meant to kill her. Well, you did kill her, Monsieur Susi, and now you'll be tried for murder. You're under arrest. Monsieur Susi, you are charged with manslaughter and the murder by strangulation of Justine Collier. How do you plead? Guilty, Your Honor, but I didn't mean it. I only wanted to see her live. Putting your hands around someone's neck is a strange way of letting them live. No, I mean Desiree from Zizi's Dans le Metro. She would live through Justine. Didier Susi, for the murder of Justine Collier, you are sentenced to 20 years in prison with mandatory psychological counseling. 20 years is a very long time, but I will have my dreams of Desiree to calm my mind. Matthew, in most of our murder investigations, we know the perpetrator will probably be unstable and dangerous in some way. But Didier Susi's obsession with a comic book character and his subsequent murder of Justine Collier is on a whole other level of instability. And he was probably the most unassuming of the suspects, the greengrocer. As we say in French, l'habit ne fait pas le moine, or the habit doesn't make the monk. Yes, in English the expression is, don't judge a book by its cover. Pigalle is a neighborhood full of surprises, and speaking of, we came here to get to the bottom of an animal smuggling ring. Yes, this case stopped us in our tracks, but now we've got to get back to work. Got it. And I'll see you guys for Walk on the Wild Side 3-5. Okay, we are back. Let's start Walk on the Wild Side 3-5. Well, Matthew, we can feel good about catching Justine Collier's killer. He was a dangerous guy, and I hope he gets the help he needs. But now, back to the matter at hand. We came to Pigalle to look into a possible animal smuggling ring. The tip-off originally directed us to possible dealings at Voyeur, where we found Collier's body. And after that, we were sidetracked by the murder investigation. Excuse me. General Matthew, I saw something at Voyeur for your animal smuggling case. When you have a moment, I can tell you what I saw. Excellent, Brigadier Bonnet. We'll be glad to hear it. Matthew, I'd like your opinion about something. It's not urgent, though. No problem, Carrie. Matthew, you better get talking to Brigadier Bonnet and Carrie before your to-do list gets any longer. It's not urgent, as Carrie said, so we'll talk to Leia first. Brigadier Bonnet, tell us about this animal smuggling happening at Voyeur. Well, when you and Matthew took the murder case, I knew you wouldn't have time to look into the animal smuggling, so I went undercover and did some reconnaissance. After you and Hugo left Voyeur, I saw people coming and going in the shop's back entrance and meeting with the owner. Deliveries? Yes, but also taking things away. And all the boxes these people carried had holes in them. I thought that was strange. It is strange. Sex toys don't need air holes. Animals would, though. Great work, but we'll need more concrete evidence of these claims before we confront Fabrice. You could check the streets outside Voyeur, as it's the path all the delivery people took. And Matthew, while I was out there, I found a lot of loose change. You could put it toward cracking this case. Matthew, what is this thing you found? It's like a leather paddle or something. Maybe it's for animal training, like how lion tamers used to have whips. There's a stain on it. Maybe if we collect a sample, we can find out what it's for. Now let's get the sample you took from the paddle to the lab for testing. Matthew, Enzo has been acting strange around me recently. Have you noticed? He keeps asking me what food I like, what drinks I like, dropping very unsubtle hints. Do you think he's trying to ask me out? I'll admit, I've been eyeing him too. He's handsome and charming, a little overconfident sometimes, but that can be endearing. When I saw him earlier, he said, "I can help you find paradise. I'll see you there." Then later he said, "You know they serve cocktails in paradise." Matthew, you and Hugo went to a bar called Paradis Perdu in your investigation, didn't you? Do you think Enzo's trying to get me to go to that bar? It definitely seems that way to me. Matthew, let's go to the bar and do a little sleuthing to get some answers. Sorry guys, we had a problem here. Now my drop-down menu had kicked in and... Okay, now I got it. Matthew, this bouquet of flowers, do you think it's from Enzo? There's a card on it that's faded. Could be some kind of mystery or scavenger hunt Enzo's putting me on. It's kind of romantic, actually. Well, that's one thing he knows about me, is that I love mysteries. Let's see what's written on this card. got it. The card with the bouquet says, "We can make up for lost time. Mon étranger." For starters, it's partly written in English, and secondly, it says "mon étranger," which is the feminine form of stranger or foreigner. I'm a woman from the United States, so I'm an étranger, and I'll bet lost time means Enzo's wanted to ask me out for a long time. That's definitely the vibe I've gotten anyway. So the bar is called Paradis Perdu, or Paradise Lost, and this note refers to lost time. This must be some kind of riddle. We're going to need some help figuring this out. Jean-Philippe is good at riddles. Let's ask him what he thinks. And I'll see you guys when these two have run their courses. So for now, this is Matthew. Catch you later. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the green substance first from Nadia. Matthew, Enzo claimed he's very busy, so I did the analysis on the sample you took from the spanking paddle. Spanking paddle? Yes, just like the ones I used in my dominatrix work. What did you think it was? We thought it might be for training animals, like a lion tamer's whip. Well, you weren't far off, because this paddle has definitely been near some animals. The sample you took from it contains fats and enzymes from cheetah milk plus additional vitamins. Basically, baby food for baby cheetahs. Like, for instance, the baby cheetahs Matthew found in that shady apartment in Montmartre. Precisely, like those adorable little fuzzballs, les pauvres minous. Well, Matthew, this baby cheetah food is enough evidence for us to interrogate Fabrice. Let's go. Monsieur Dufour, can you tell us why this paddle from your shop has food for a baby cheetah on it? Baby cheetahs? Spanking paddles? Sounds kinky, General Matthew. Don't tiptoe around the subject, Monsieur Dufour. We know you've been exchanging packages possibly containing animals. Animal smuggling is a serious offense. Your whole operation here will shut down. Okay. I can't afford to lose my business. I've been serving as a go-between for some of these animal smugglers. But I want out. Please, I never meant to get wrapped up in this. If you can help me break my ties with them and keep my business, I can give you a lead. We're listening. I'm supposed to drop off a briefcase at the airport. You can take the briefcase and make the drop for me, and that'll put you in contact with them. We'll see what we can do, Monsieur Dufour. General Matthew, let's get that briefcase. Thank you, General Matthew. And all this talk about secret dealings has made me too nervous to eat my dinner. You can have it. Matthew, this is the briefcase Fabrice said he's supposed to deliver to animal smugglers at the airport tomorrow. It didn't seem like he was lying, but let's get this thing open and make sure it's not just full of dildos or something. I hope not. I'm surprised they actually use that terminology there. Matthew, there's a ton of money in this briefcase, and a note that says, FD, bring the briefcase to Rossi CDG tomorrow at 7 p.m. FD are Fabrice Dufort's initials, so this was definitely meant for him. Rossi CDG is one of the airports near Paris, so Fabrice was set to deliver a lot of money to the animal smuggler at the airport. Well, now when the smuggler shows up to collect, we'll be there instead. Okay, now the mysterious card. Hello, Jean-Philippe. Any luck deciphering the mysterious note I got on that bouquet of flowers from Enzo? Yes, actually. I know exactly what this note means. Awesome! What is Enzo trying to tell me? Actually, Enzo isn't trying to tell you anything. This note is from Celeste Alouest to me. What? How do you know? I recognize this lipstick smudge. It's Celeste's color, and étrangère is a reference to my drag persona, Elk von Schlepp. Oh well. I was actually about to go to the Paradis Perdu bar to meet Celeste. She's going to transform me into Elk, and we're going out for a night on the town. Oh, Matthew. I guess I was wrong about Enzo setting up a date tonight. I feel so stupid. No need to feel stupid, Carrie. Alors, why don't you and Matthew join us for some drinks? Thank you, Jean-Philippe. I could use a drink right about now. Come on, Matthew, let's go say hi to Celeste. Hello, General Matthew, and this must be the ravishing Carrie I've heard about. Ravishing? What do you mean? Who have you heard that from? You have an admirer, dear. A handsome hunk of a man named Enzo, I believe. He was just here. Really? Enzo told you about me? Yes, he did. As I said, he was just here. I said Enzo was just here. Ah, ma chérie Carrie, you've arrived. Oh gosh. We'll leave you to your date, and here's a little something in case you feel like spicing things up. Enzo, what an elaborate setup for a date. What do you mean, Carrie? Getting Celeste involved and having her write that note for Jean-Philippe, but that was actually a sneaky way to get me to come here. I didn't expect any of this. Oh, I didn't organize any of that. Sure, I dropped some hints about paradise, but I knew that if I was here with my shirt off, my pure animal magnetism would draw you to me. No woman can resist me, least of all you. I knew I had you from the moment I saw you. Huh, that's funny, because I didn't think anyone had me. I'm my own person. You're fooled by your own desires. I see that it's hard for you to admit how badly you want me. And it's getting harder to admit by the second. Enzo, put your shirt back on. I don't think I'm in the mood for a date tonight. But we're just getting started. Well, time flies when you're not having fun. I'll see you back at the station. Wow, Matthew, that date with Enzo was a colossal failure. I knew he was a little... I didn't know it was that severe. Judging from what Matthew told me, Carrie, I wonder if Enzo has such a strong crush on you that he felt he had to overcompensate. That could be. It's a bit childish, really. I'm just sad there wasn't more there. I had a bit of a crush on him, too. But what a goofball. He'll have to grow up before anything could happen between us. Well, while you're waiting for that to happen, we've got a lead on our animal smugglers. Fabrice Dufort acted as a go-between in their dealings, but he wants out. We'll act in his place, delivering a briefcase full of cash at the airport tomorrow night. That's when we'll catch our animal smugglers. Get ready, Matthew. Tomorrow is a big day. October 1st is when it will be released. Okay. And I'll see you guys on October 1st. So for now, this is Matthew. I'll see you soon.